Hi guys, I'm Roseanne. Welcome to this week's practice. This week I'd like to guide you through a practice of opening up shoulders, shoulder chest space area, opening up hips and just stretching through the legs everywhere that we may get tight while seated at our desk. As always, taking the practice within your own pace, listen to your body, listen to it as a guide and be present here. How does your body feel? Does it feel right to be there? And if not, always feel free to take a variation. So when you're ready, join me in a comfortable seat position. So finding that comfortable seat position, do feel free to cross your legs, extend those legs out, hands, palms facing down. And just find a bit of length in your torso. So maybe you have a tendency just to kind of slouch down, and I definitely have a tendency for my shoulders to roll forward, which I always have to constantly draw them back and find a lot of tension held here in the chest. So just find a bit of length, and maybe you start to shrug the shoulders up, draw the shoulders down. Maybe you might do that with breath. Inhale, squeeze the shoulders up. And exhale, roll the shoulders down and away. And we'll go ahead and take another round of that. Nice, and feel free to close the eyes as we find that length, lightly starting to engage with our core. Think about broadening through the front and the back space. So instead of pinching the shoulder blades together, think about pressing the arms outwards. Arms draw outwards, so you create a space underneath your armpits. Both the back and the front space broad. You can relax your elbows still. And then maybe just slightly tucking the chin in, just to find your breath here. So noticing how you're feeling today, physically, energy levels, your mind space. Maybe you've had a busy morning. And can we just arrive guided by the breath? So maybe the next time that we breathe in, we're feeling the belly space expand. And breathing into that chest, and maybe just stretching the chest as you take a deep breath in. You might pause, hold the breath. And then breathing all the way out. Just taking note of your own breath, making your arrival here into today's practice. Nice, and no rush. Feel free to keep your eyes closed. The next exhale, we're going to draw the air down towards the right. So tip the head over to the right side. And just noticing any spaces, pockets of tension there. And then on your next exhale, just going to roll the chin down, round. And then head tips over towards the left. And just do breathing there. And then on your next exhale, we're going to draw the chin down and round, and we'll just start to move that in a neck roll. So breathing in when the air reaches the shoulder, breathing out, chin rolls down and round. And as you move through that, just noticing if the shoulders creep up, noticing any areas of tension within your neck and shoulders. Nice, and then taking your time. The next time the head rolls down, we're just going to start to round the back, draw the belly button in, and then we're just going to sweep the hands forward, maybe interlace the hands, press palms forward, maybe draw a circle with those palms. Just moving in that back space of your body. Nice. Next inhale, we're going to open up as you reach the arms up. Take the arms out. And we're going to take them about shoulder height. Draw the hands back. Just notice if your shoulders creep up, draw the shoulders down. So if you need to lower the hands, feel free to do so. Spread the fingers, draw the arms back. Breathe in there. Just notice if you're flaring that rib cage, can you tuck that rib cage in? Just take the arms back. So you're going to feel a stretch with the arms, maybe through to the chest there. Nice, bring right hand down, take left arm out into a diagonal again. Just reaching the arm out first, and then if there's space, you draw it back. So again, we're aiming for this space here, your pectorals towards your chest. Breathing there. Stay active through the hands. Just feeling your way through that stretch. Nice, and then switching it over. So stand left hand down to the ground, reach your arm out first into that diagonal, and then if it feels okay, you're just going to gently draw it back slightly. Not so much that you're twisting, thinking about just opening up this space here. Breathe in there. Nice. And no rush from there, just shaking it out. And then we're going to extend those legs out. We'll take our right foot and our right knee. Just gently rocking it side to side. So first option is just to have the foot out. Holding and rocking. Nice. Second option is you might hook the foot into the elbow, and then you might hook the arm around the knee and just cradle the leg. So if that feels that you've got space there, feel free to do that. You might even interlace the hands. If you feel okay there, just release and then bend the knee and do the same thing. Breathe in there. You might gently rock side to side. Nice. And then if you feel okay there, ankle stacks on top of knee, knees directly over the ankle. We're coming into square pose or fire log pose. Nice, and that might already, so just making sure that your ankle is out too, Maloney. So when you think about them stacking, they're directly on top, even if they're not touching. It might feel already quite intense here, so you might release your hands back, just taking a bit of space for your hip flexors. If it feels okay, you might be able to bring them down, stacking elbows onto the knees. It's quite an intense stretch for the hip space, so do listen to where your edge is, don't force anything. And if you weren't feeling your body, you're probably feeling it now. It's quite an intense pose. Nice. Are we still breathing? Can we take a deep breath in? And a deep breath out. Nice, last breath, whichever variation you're in. Nice. And gently release. So if you're leaning forward, lean back. Pick the foot, pick the knee up. Rock it side to side. Straighten the leg out. Nice. And then shake both legs out straight. Then we're going to come into the other side. So legs out straight first. Taking left foot, left knee. Rock side to side. So that might be enough for you there. Stay there. It might be that you want to hook foot into elbow, knee into elbow. Maybe you have the space to interlace. You might cradle there. Nice. If you are going to bend the knee, unravel the leg first, bend that leg in, and then hook, unbind. So that might be you there. Nice. And you can stay there as well. Otherwise, you can bring your foot so the ankle is onto the knee, and again just shuffle that foot out so that the ankle is right underneath your knee. Coming into square pose or fire log pose. Notice and honour that the sides of the body feel different, so don't force anything. It might be enough to stay there, it might be enough to just stay rocking. You might bring the hands behind you just to create space in your hip flexors if it's too intense. Nice, and then you might, for some, be able to find a bit of space to fold. Maybe this is okay, maybe you place the elbows onto the knees, maybe that's too intense. Find what works for you, honour that the sides of the body feel different. Don't force anything. And we always find our edge, a space that we feel safe enough to be in, that's in our comfort zone. We'll be edged towards that discomfort. And with that edge towards the discomfort, we breathe and we expand that comfort zone space. So that might be that you find more space within your body. You might find that you create a bit more space within the pose. Last breath there. Nice, and then for those leaning forward, start to lean back. When you're ready, you're going to start to hold foot and knee, rock it side to side, bring the other leg out. Nice, and then I'm just going to change this way. You feel free to do so as well if you need to come onto mat. Bring feet hip width, bring arms out behind you. Fingertips can face outwards or maybe forwards or maybe even backwards if that feels good for you. I would suggest outwards because we're going to think about pushing the hands down and out. Fingertips face outwards. Think about shoulder blades drawing down the back and pushing the arms outwards rather than pinching the shoulder blades together. Think about pushing them outwards. Pressing the floor into the hands into the floor. Feet about hip width apart. Maybe you might need to shuffle them in. Press through the hands. Lift the chest. So you might stay there, or you might start to engage with legs and glutes and lift up into reverse tabletop. You can look forward, or maybe it feels okay, you might drop the head back. Stay active through the hands. So even if it's too much to lift the hips up, think about pushing through the ground there. So active, broadening the front, the back space of your body. Breathing there. Nice, whichever option you're in, we're here for 2 more breaths. Staying active through those hands. Nice, take your time. Next exhale, lower down. Bring the soles of the feet together to shake out the arms. Nice, soles of the feet together, knees out to the side. Coming into bound ankle. So I'll just face this way first so you can see what I'm doing with my back. So we're going to inhale, find that length. Notice that pull from the pelvic floor, that length through the spine to the crown of the head. So you want to find that length. And then on the exhale, if there's space, you draw the elbows out. You draw chest towards the feet. Try not to round. Think about keeping that lift. And then exhale, fold. So the fold comes through the hips. If you need to, you can take the feet further out. Do the same thing. Inhale, finding that length. Exhale, finding that fold through the hips. Notice if your shoulders are creeping up together. Draw the shoulders out. Keep broad through the front and the back. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, you might find space to fold. Nice. Take your time. Last breath there. Nice. When you're ready to reshake the legs out. Cross the leg just to bring yourself in through to all fours to tabletop. Knees underneath the hips. Fingertips spread into the floor. Nice. From there, as we check, knees hip width apart, ankles also in line with the hips. We're going to walk those hands forward. As we walk the hands forward, we make our way into puppy pose. Forehead onto the ground, making sure the hips are still up and the hips are up just so that we can apply that gentle weight into the front upper part of the body. That's it. If you want to, you may walk the hands further forward, makes it more intense in the upper part of the body. Feels too intense, you walk the hands back, sit the hips a little closer towards your heels. Find where your edge is. And then once we're there, let go of the upper part of the body. Can you maybe sink chest towards the ground? Maybe letting go of any tension held in shoulders. Under the armpits. Into the upper back. Last couple of breaths there. Your next inhale, press through the hands, guiding yourself back up, back through to all fours, tabletop. Taking your rounds of cow and cat pose as we inhale, lift the tailbone, broaden the chest, the shoulders draw down and away from the ears. If it feels good, you might wriggle. Exhale, tuck the chin in, round the back, draw the belly button in, tuck the tailbone under. So just moving through that spinal articulation, noticing all this space, tension within your body, moving within your own pace of breath. Just noticing where it feels good to move, where it feels necessary to move. So if you feel that you need to wriggle, feel free to do so. And feel free to stay there if that feels really nice. Or you might start to tuck the toes under, send yourself up into your first downward dog. You might start to pedal the feet, sway, twist the hips. If you are in that downward dog version, spread the fingertips into the spread the fingertips into the ground. Shoulders away from the ears, sending the hips up, away from those hands, so up towards the back of the room. Nice. And then on your next inhale, we're going to send our right leg back, even if you're in all fours. Sending right leg back. Then we're going to look forward, look to that right thumb, and then send the foot towards that right thumb. So we're stepping in between, but remember we're finding that hip-knee alignment so that the foot does step slightly towards that right hand. Hip, knee, ankle aligned. Hands beside the feet as we come into lunge position. From there, we inhale, lengthen the spine. On the exhale, we're going to start to walk those hands back. We're going to start to sit the hips back, and as we do that, we're going to start to bring the toes of the right foot off the ground. So we're coming onto the heel. The leg might be straight, the leg might be bent. Nice. Then inhale, we rock forward, back into lunge position. Exhale, send the hips back. So this is option one. You can come back and forth through lunge to half splits. If you'd like, you might tuck the back toes to lift the back knee up. So you're in a high lunge or back knee lifted lunge. And then as you exhale, you send the hips back. Notice that the foot still stays on the ground on the front leg. The back heel may or may not touch the ground, just depending on how tight you feel there. So it's a bit like a pyramid pose. So up to you. Inhale, lunge, whether the knees lifted on the ground. Exhale, send the hips back, whether the back knee is lifted or not. And maybe you take a kind of variation of the two. Just explore what feels good for your body. Thinking of lunge, it's coming through to the hips. That sending the hips back, whether it's half splits or that pyramid version, through the back of the leg. Nice, and as you explore that, making sure that we're still breathing. Maybe even slowing the breath down and slowing our transition. No rush the next time that you make your way in through to lunge position. We'll tuck the toes if you haven't already to make your way into downward dog. And as you make your way into downward dog, you might pedal the feet, sway, twist the hips. Fine, whatever feels good for you there. Nice. From there, next inhale, send left leg all the way up, three-legged dog. And then we're going to look forward, stepping that foot towards the left hand. But remember, in between, so we're still coming into lunge, not lizard. Lower the back knee. Just checking that hip, knee, ankle alignment, and again. Inhale to lunge. Breathe in there, and then exhale, walk the hands back, send the hips back. So maybe just take a few rounds of these just to warm up. Inhale, lunge. You're going to stretch through hips. Exhale, send the hips back, walk the hands back to make your way into half splits. If you're ready to and your body's craving for it, you might take lunge, back knee lifted, and send the hips back. So you're in that half or that pyramid pose, but don't worry if the back heel doesn't touch the ground. It's entirely up to you. Work your way through the hip flexors, work your way through the back of the legs, your hamstrings of that left leg. Nice, just in your own pace. So if it means that you'd rather just stay in lunge for a breath before you move into your half splits, feel free to do so. Just taking your time with that, maybe even slowing the breath down if you can, slowing your transitions down. Bringing that into a bit more of a flow. Nice. Taking your time the next time that you arrive into lunge position, we'll tuck the toes under, lift the back knee, stepping in through to downward dog. And if you don't fancy downward dog, maybe you come back into that puppy pose. So maybe if your shoulders are feeling particularly tense today, maybe you choose that option instead of tensing it more up in your downward dog. It's up to you. Whichever option you choose, we're taking a couple more breaths there. Nice, shoulders away from the ears, Maloney. That's it. From there, take your time to lower down if you're in downward dog, and those in puppy pose is going to start to make our way all into child's pose. You might bring the knees together, you might take the knees out, reach the arms forward as we make our way into child's pose. Maybe it feels good for you to bring the palms together and then bring the thumbs to the back of your neck. So you're getting that tricep stretch as well. Entirely up to you. Whichever option you choose. We're here just for a couple more breaths. Nice, and then when you're ready to, bringing those hands back down, rolling yourself up so head comes up last. And as you roll ourselves up, head comes up last. Maybe you shrug the shoulders up. Maybe you'd like to come up to kneel and circle those arms up and draw them back down. And just take this time as well to grab that pillow as we use it for our second sort of pose. And maybe two options here. The main thing is the pillow to open up the chest. So notice I've just folded my pillow up, fold the pillow up, and then play around with that. So option, you might bring the pillow so that it's vertical along the back. It might be that you roll it so that it comes on the upper part of the back and it comes, so when you bring yourself down, it'll be like at your armpits. And that's how we're going to set it up. So lowering down, I've just shows it horizontal, sits quite nice in the upper back, and then when I lie over that, it's just kind of coming out under my armpits. And then you're going to take the arms out. Palms, make sure the palms are facing up so we get rotation through that chest. Arms out. And then with the legs, we've got the soles of the feet together in reclined butterfly or bound angle. Or maybe you'd rather just take the legs to extend out in supported fish. Up to you. The main aim here is that upper part of the body. It's entirely up to you what you want to do with the legs. And the cushion is sitting on the upper part of your body so that it opens up the chest. And when we're there, does your head feel okay? Your neck feel okay there? If not, do feel free to pop a cushion underneath your head. And once we're there, can we settle? Do we feel safe enough to be there? And if we do, can we really let go of the shoulders? Allow the shoulders to melt into the pillow. Allow the head to let go. Can we breathe into that belly, chest space? Or maybe we're just focusing on breathing into the chest. The breath being our guide always, but also allowing our chest space to open with that breath in. And maybe even pause, hold the breath before you breathe out. So using the breath as a guide, but also as a tool to maybe work your way through those tiny muscles around our chest, around into our collarbone space that gets habitually tight through hunching over our screens or our phones or slouching. So opening up there, taking about a couple more breaths. Nice, and when you're ready to, if you've bent the legs, just straighten them out. Stay a moment there. And then, option here, do feel free to roll over to the side to remove the pillow. If it feels quite nice for your chest, feel free to keep that pillow underneath you. We're gonna finish up in corpse pose Shavasana, whether you have that gentle or back bend in that pillow underneath you. We're gonna extend those legs out, feet out mat width, hands onto the belly, or if you can, hands out to the side, opening up the chest. Feel free to close your eyes, feel free to pop any extra layers on. Notice how your body feels, maybe different physically, mentally. How do you feel maybe different now after our practice? We always take the time to ground, center, a sense of coming back home to our body, to ourselves. So as we come into our final part of our practice, can we let go of legs and can we let go of hips? Allow the back to unravel, belly, chest to soften, opening up the chest, letting go of the arms down to the hands. Shoulders relaxing, head letting go. Letting go of jaw and eyes, eyebrows and the space in between the eyebrows. Next breath out. Can we make it a little longer, slower, and just let everything go with that slow out breath? And as we breathe here, just allowing this space of resetting, recentering, coming back to your body. Nice. And in your own time, you might start to notice points of contact with the floor, air, maybe brushing against your skin or the exchange with the air. And feeling free to maybe wiggle fingers and wiggle toes, maybe rock the head side to side. Maybe start to stretch the legs and stretch the arms, taking a full body stretch. And so for those that maybe have a pillow underneath them, just removing it. As you then collect the knees, hug the knees in towards the chest, give yourself a big squeeze and a big hug. And feel free to rock side to side, roll over to the side. Or rocking back and forth, So gently come up into a comfortable seat position with the hands at the centre of the chest. As we arrive back into our day, closing our practice. Next inhale, we'll circle those arms up over the head. Palms together. Exhale, hands down through center. Namaste. Thank you for joining practice and welcome back.